Have you ever felt like your mind isn't the same anymore? Like you're slowly losing little pieces of yourself, the name of someone you love, the reason you walked into a room, or even that recent memory that just disappears? You may think this is normal for your age, but what if I told you that there is a natural, simple, and affordable ingredient that can protect your brain, regenerate your neural connections, and slow the progression of Alzheimer's? An ingredient that science has been studying for decades, but that almost no one uses correctly. I am Dr. Sofia Martin, a specialist in brain health and healthy aging. And today, I want to show you something that can change the course of your mental future. Because aging with lucidity is not a privilege, it's a choice. And that choice begins with understanding how your brain really works. Before we continue, I want to make a quick and important invitation. Have you subscribed to the channel yet? The next videos will be a true journey of brain protection, step by step, in a simple and scientific way. And your subscription helps not only the channel, but also other people who need to know this information. Now tell me in the comments, from which city or country are you watching me? I love to know how far this message reaches, and each comment shows how much this community is growing around the world. But back to what really matters. Why, as the years go by, does our mind seem to get slower, more tired, less clear? Is forgetfulness just a symptom of time, or the result of something we've been ignoring for decades? The truth is that a silent battle is raging inside us, and it determines whether you will age with clarity or confusion. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what the latest studies have discovered about brain regeneration, a process that many believed was impossible after the age of 60. But which modern science has proven to be entirely real. Yes, your brain can create new cells, strengthen your memory, and protect itself against degeneration. And most impressively, this doesn't depend on expensive drugs or invasive treatments. It depends on nutrition, consistency, and knowledge. Imagine being able to wake up every day with a clear mind, easily remembering names, dates, and ideas, and having the assurance that you are doing something real to prevent Alzheimer's. That's exactly what this video will teach you. Let's understand together what natural ingredient every adult should include in their routine, why it has the power to reduce inflammation in the brain, and how to use it correctly so that it really works. But I ask you one thing: stay with me until the end. Because in addition to the scientific explanation, I'm going to share a real, moving, and true story of a patient who completely transformed her life by applying this knowledge. You will realize that it is never too late to take care of your mind, and that sometimes what seems simple is what really saves what we have most valuable, our lucidity. So take a deep breath, open your mind, and allow yourself to learn. What you are about to discover may not only protect your brain, but redefine the way you age. Many people believe that as we age, the brain simply begins to shut down little by little, as if it were natural to forget names, get lost in thoughts, or feel that mental fog that prevents clarity. But what if I told you that this is not destiny, but a sign of something deeper? I see this every day in my office, men and women who arrive frightened, saying, "Doctor, I feel like my head isn't the same anymore." And deep down, what they're really afraid of is losing their very essence, of ceasing to be who they are. The mind is the mirror of the soul. When it begins to fail, it's not just memory that fades, it's the sparkle of identity, the taste for small things, the pleasure of remembering what makes us unique. And this silent fading doesn't happen overnight. It sets in slowly, between one forgetfulness and another, between a bad night's sleep and a hurried meal, until one day we realize that something has changed, and we no longer know when it started. Have you ever experienced that moment when you are about to say something and suddenly the word disappears from your head? Or you walk into a room and forget why you went there? This is not just distraction. It is your brain asking for attention. The modern pace of life, information overload, constant stress, and lack of rest are undermining our ability to think clearly day after day. But what few people know is that the brain is a living, adaptable organ. It doesn't give up easily. Even after the age of 60, it is capable of renewing itself, forming new connections, and relearning. Science calls this neurogenesis, And it is one of the most fascinating discoveries of recent times. In other words, lucidity can be rebuilt. I like to compare the brain to a garden. If it is well cared for, watered, and nourished, it will flourish for decades. But if we abandon it, weeds take over, and beauty hides beneath neglect. The secret lies in learning to care for this inner garden before the leaves begin to fall. And that is exactly what I want to teach you today. How to cultivate a lively, alert, and vibrant brain regardless of your age. There is a silent enemy that attacks the brain every day, and most people don't even realize it. It causes no pain, leaves no visible marks, but gradually steals clarity, energy, and the ability to remember. This enemy is called chronic brain inflammation. Unlike the common inflammation that occurs when you hurt your arm and your body reacts to heal, this one acts silently, eroding the connections between nerve cells and hindering communication between them. It's as if the brain begins to speak a language it no longer understands. But what causes this inflammation? It's not just a matter of age. It's the result of small daily excesses, the sugar hidden in food, the stress that never stops, the lack of restful sleep, and the sedentary lifestyle that becomes routine. Each of these factors is like a spark, and together they ignite an invisible fire within the mind. A fire that, over time, extinguishes lucidity. Imagine for a moment that your brain is a big city. When it is healthy, the flow of information is perfect. The lights turn on, the paths connect, and ideas travel at high speed. But when there is inflammation, congestion begins. Signals slow down, neurons get confused, and messages get lost. And suddenly, something as simple as remembering a name, a date, or an idea seems like a mental marathon. Have you ever felt this slowness? That feeling that your mind doesn't turn on like it used to? Tell me in the comments. I want to know if this has happened to you or someone close to you, because understanding these signs is the first step to reversing the process. The good news is that science has already proven that the brain can regenerate. Yes, even after 60, it is possible to create new cells, strengthen old ones, and restore lost connections. This is more than a theory. It is a fact proven by recent studies that analyzed the brains of elderly people and found thousands of new neurons emerging in the hippocampus, the center of memory and learning. It's as if nature were saying, "There's still time. There is still time to flourish." But for this to happen, the brain needs fertile ground, free of inflammation and well-nourished. And that's where one of the biggest secrets of modern neuroscience comes in. Food is the trigger for brain regeneration. What you put on your plate today can determine how clear your mind will be tomorrow. Think for a moment. Has what you eat been helping or sabotaging your brain? Excessive amounts of bad fats, ultra-processed foods, soft drinks, and sweets fuel inflammation and accelerate mental aging. Natural foods, rich in antioxidants, good fats, and anti-inflammatory compounds, act as a balm that cleanses, nourishes, and re-energizes the brain. The curious thing is that many still believe that taking care of the mind is just about doing crossword puzzles or reading more books. Sure, that helps. But without the right fuel, no machine works well. Nutrition is the foundation of memory, and science has shown that certain ingredients have the power to literally change the way the brain ages. And among these ingredients, there is one in particular, one that you may have in your kitchen right now, but never imagined how powerful it is. An ingredient that, when used correctly, can reduce inflammation in the brain, restore connections, and awaken a clearer, more stable, and younger mind. Do you already have an idea what it is? Write your guess in the comments. I want to see who gets it right before I reveal it, because what comes next may completely change the way you understand the aging of your brain. This ingredient, which has been used in kitchens around the world for centuries, is turmeric, also known as ground saffron. At first glance, it looks like just an ordinary spice, a yellow powder that adds color and flavor to dishes. But inside it contains a compound that science considers one of the most powerful brain protectors, curcumin. In recent years, dozens of studies published in renowned scientific journals such as Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience and Journal of Psychopharmacology have confirmed that curcumin has such profound anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects that it can slow the degeneration of brain cells and stimulate the birth of new neural connections. A study conducted in Asia followed elderly people who consumed turmeric regularly for several years. The result was surprising. They had better memory, greater ability to concentrate, and fewer signs of cognitive decline. And most impressively, even those with a family history of Alzheimer's showed a much slower rate of mental deterioration. It is as if turmeric acts as an invisible shield, protecting the most delicate structures of the brain. But the impact is not just theoretical or laboratory-based. I remember well a patient, Isabel, 68, who came to the office complaining of mental confusion and frequent forgetfulness. She said, "Doctor, sometimes I feel like my mind goes blank for a few seconds." After adjusting her diet and including turmeric with black pepper and extra virgin olive oil every day, something began to change. Little by little, Isabel began to feel more alert, remembered appointments, and regained interest in her reading. One day, with tears in her eyes, she told me, "I am no longer a hostage to forgetfulness. I am myself again." Stories like Isabel's are repeated in several countries. Doctors and researchers have observed consistent results. Curcumin acts on 3 fronts. It reduces brain inflammation, neutralizes free radicals, and stimulates neurogenesis. 3 pillars that support the balance of the mind. You may never have imagined that something so simple could have such a profound effect. But that's how nature works, quietly, patiently, and precisely. And when we understand how to use it to our advantage, we begin to realize that aging with lucidity is not a distant dream. It is a real possibility. Isabel's story teaches us something profound. The brain does not age, it adapts. And that difference changes everything. Science proves that, with the right stimuli, the brain can rebuild bridges, reactivate memories, and rekindle that flame of clarity that seemed lost. But for that, it takes consistency, not miracles. It is daily care, choosing the right food, getting adequate rest, moving the body, and exercising the mind that transforms what seemed inevitable into a new beginning. Unfortunately, many still treat forgetfulness as a natural part of aging, when in fact, it is a cry for help from the brain. We ignore signs such as mental fatigue, mood swings, or difficulty remembering small things, without realizing that all of this is a reflection of an overloaded system. The good news is that the road to recovery is closer than we think. When we balance the body and provide it with the right nutrients, the brain responds vigorously. It wants to function well. It wants to protect you. Turmeric, when combined with black pepper and a healthy fat, becomes a true fuel for lucidity. This simple combination helps restore communication between cells, improves energy flow, and reduces the inflammation that harms it so much. This is not an empty promise. It is science applied in a humane, accessible, and transformative way. Think about it. How many opportunities to live fully do we miss because we believe that it's too late? How many dreams, plans, and memories do we let fall dormant because we lack knowledge about how to care for the mind? It is never too late to rebuild what time has tried to erase. Today, you understand that you don't have to accept forgetfulness as your destiny. You can strengthen your brain, nourish your mind, and regain the clarity that has always been within you. In the next step, I'll show you exactly how to apply this knowledge in practice. A simple, detailed, and achievable plan to protect your brain and keep it strong, lucid, and alert for many, many years to come. Now that you understand the real power that exists within your brain, it's time to turn knowledge into action. Lucidity is not a gift that time decides to grant. It is the result of daily, silent, conscious choices. It is a reflection of how you eat, sleep, think, and take care of yourself. And as simple as it may seem, it is in this simplicity that the key to mental longevity lies. Here is the plan I share with my patients, which you can start today. First, include turmeric in your routine 4 to 6 times a week. Remember to always combine it with a pinch of black pepper and a source of healthy fat, such as olive oil or coconut oil. It is this combination that activates curcumin and allows it to reach your brain. Second, protect your nights of sleep as a sacred asset. The brain regenerates while you sleep deeply, Without this, no food or supplement will have the desired effect. Third, move every day. Walking, dancing, practicing breathing, or simply stretching your body for a few minutes is enough to increase cerebral blood flow and strengthen mental clarity. And fourth, cultivate calmness. Stress is one of the brain's greatest aggressors. Learn to pause, breathe, and slow down your thinking before it consumes you. These four pillars, nutrition, sleep, movement, and serenity, form the basis of a lively, resilient, and alert brain. And the most beautiful thing is to realize that no matter your age, it's always time to start over. There's always room to blossom again from within. I am Dr. Sofia Martin, and I am happy to walk alongside you on this journey of clarity and self-care. If this content has touched you in some way, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share your experiences or questions in the comments, even anonymously. Your story may inspire someone who needs hope today. Because protecting your brain is more than preserving your memory. It is honoring the life that still pulses within you.